Hi everybody, it's Jess, your go-to YouTube dance commentator, and we're here with the choreography video of AHOF's Run to You. Now, I've already looked at the music video, already looked at the live performance, but seeing it just in isolation to dance, I'm looking forward to, with just no glitz and glamour, no LEDs or anything, just quality of movement. Ready? I hope you are. Let's go. We're able to watch Honey do it without a handheld. That's fun. Nice. That was cute. Are we gonna actually see them drop to the floor? If we do, I don't think we will. If we do, I'm gonna see 4 people are gonna drop to the floor. But if we don't, they'll just block it out. Lame! I'm just kidding. I like seeing people be like, oh, thank God we're done. That's so real. Okay. I like that we have a choreography video. I was super impatient. I bet many of you were as well. I'm so glad we've already done a first review. So this was going to be way more broad, touching on different points, things along the lines. But if you want to see my first actual watch through, it is already here on YouTube. Hopefully it'll be recommended to you. So I love the drop back on this. I love the commitment. I really like that we have it super straight on so we can really appreciate the visual. That's such a good visual. The trust he has, I really appreciate that you can see that reflected in that choice. And also I'm clocking a couple people who are our go-to mirrors, right? So that's trying to see if I can see them clocked even here. Near the tail end, I noticed them. So we have him move away. This right here, I love that we have Han. I'm not going to say his full name. I'm learning. I like that we get to see what he does in movement without the handheld. I loved that he had it because you're able to really control how you project, right? But I like being able to see him just being able to move. I think that's really fun. So the kind of projection of just walking forward, I think reads super well here. Walks and then having two more pop up. I love that happening on the bass where you can really resonate with it in sound. I like that we have this accent with the tear across. Great projection, usage of chest there to provide the accent. Woonki breaks the masses, breaks them away to create a fun phrase and frame. They travel to the inside. Now notice our two right here. You're going to see them mirror each other a lot in this dance. Just fun. So we end up sending it down low high. I like the tension with the build up on it. I think JL does a great job, but he's not leaving everybody in the dust. You don't want that to happen. Even if you have somebody as a feature, if you're all doing the same thing, you want everybody to kind of be on the same page on projection or the choice itself. Now there can be certain texture deviations, which helps enhance the feature, right? But in the context here, you can really see the chest isolation from JL. You see others do it, but because he's front and center, it is nice to be able to really focus on him in that. And would you see him book in that at the end? Now, I'm noticing in the back, my two most, we're going to call them the most improved in the sense of outside of Daisuke. I think he's kind of like a little exception. But having Shaibol and Jungwoo, they're going to be mirrored very often in this. And if you didn't notice it, I hope you're able to pick on it now. And I'm going to try to remember this. If I haven't already said it, I feel like I've said this before. But in the future track releases with them, those two... Could be because of height, but I do think part of it's movement quality. We see this very often in groups. So I like that run to you through, and then we go high and low. They send it back. I do think this one is way more in tune with the concept that they thrive in compared to Sugar High. Sugar High, I believe there's a lot of unison. Now, yes, they're team rhythm, right, with a couple exceptions, but I do think the sound is very needed in the space, and I think they're doing a great job with it. And working with El Captain, that's a beautiful combination, right? So I like the low high on that with your feature. They insert it inverted. I like the touch on it. I'm so glad we have an OT9. The travel up is nice with the pulse. Frame it up so no one's getting left behind. I think they're being very strategic on their mirrors. Look, once again, Jungwoo and Shaibol are mirrored there. Yeah. So I like that with Han. We're going to call him Han, not Honey. Han. I feel better about that. So we have the isolations, go and check there into the V. You can actually see him do the choreography, see how he's able to be more comfortable because you're not having to totally rely upon your vocals. So I like the head nod with the drop down, very nice range across the board. And then we end up accenting. Also, as Daisuke gets older and as he gets taller, who is going to be his go-to person that he aligns with in height? Because a lot of times you have a routine or a formation that is balanced by symmetry of heights. A lot of times it creates a really nice overall picture, because sometimes, if you didn't know this, sometimes whenever it's off balance and it's not meant to be off balance, it's just circumstance, it can give the impression that the routine just doesn't quite look right. It's because it doesn't, because we want to strive for, symmetry. We want to strive for balance, and a really nice way to do that. Sometimes it's as simple as hair color. Sometimes it's as simple as height. That's a very real thing. So I think it's interesting that we get to talk about that a lot here. I like the assistant on that. The pull through is really fun. They travel it down. Oh, that's nice. And then they end up pointing it. We have a Shaibol feature here. We get it low, high, and then we switch it, pull through. It's the Jungwoo Shaibol pass off. And then we point it. And then we accent, look around, and then we travel it with the run to you. I like that we just ran through, not really ran through, but we kind of moved through the space on that, which is nice. We are moving, transitionally just by walking. We do have some unison once again here, but I would say the idea of the choreography, I think, cushions it a little bit more effectively compared to the trend setting of Sugar High. High, middle, low. Oh, that's nice with the ISO. We didn't quite isolate it as much again there. And then they end up tapping back with a point, and then we switch the leg. And you have the, I'm curious how many takes I had to do for this. Having the head, little brushes are fun. He switches it with this rotation. Switch off there, a little boogaloo moment. V-step to transition on. I like the content of that. The partnering also looks really great. I like the skimmy 5 pass off. I think I already said that before. The ball changes are fun with the switch. We accent with the arms up, which is also nice. We present more pass offs, and the arms go up to elevate the levels so everybody else is able to be seen. The deviation feature is great. Touch, I think, on that exact point that JL did. He's very smart and sensible with his feature choices. And then we send it around. Gian, I'm still looking forward to seeing his growth in the area of performance. He was out for an injury during the Pinocchio era, so I'm not counting that. But I do think we have improved. The commitment to his choices, he has significantly improved. You saw what he did in the beginning, right? I saw it, you saw it. That requires a lot of trust. It requires the ability to go for it. So he's showcasing that there. I'm hopeful to see a little bit more presentation here because this is going to naturally influence what your body does. And accenting, it looks like he's not really using his torso as much, but also some people have already calibrated to the vocals. Others are able to go more full because they don't have to rely upon vocals in this particular run through, which I think is super fun. And then we point it, bring it in. I like that we have our features not always be center. I do appreciate that. We have people swerving. We have people starting in the corner, this, that, and the other. We do, however, in the environment side, have a lot of unison still here. But I've already kind of touched on in this concept, it's a little bit easier to get on board with because the content itself is more, I would say there's more interesting components of it to supplement for the lack of, for the lack of interesting dynamic shifts happening in those sections of the course. But also, I think I said this exact point earlier, which is why a lot of times I don't cover the choreography video and a live cam because sometimes they end up being really redundant. But if anything, that should completely confirm what I touched on to begin with if I'm picking up on it again. Because I look at a lot of material every day, right? So it's not necessarily this is going to be imprinted in my head forever. Some things are, right? But I would say in the place here in this course, you have more partner work. You have more of that happening to break up the unison compared to what we've experienced in their B-side track that they use, that pre-release, right? So the tension on that's nice. We hit it high, middle, low. We have a little bit more of a tension there in the chest. More so compared to what we saw in the beginning with Han. He was really able to create a really fun, rigid, full choice on that in the beginning, which really was captivating. And then we rotate. Here we go. We're walking. Then we'll like the walking backwards. It didn't quite clock it the first time where we had some people actually walk backwards. That's a risk because you got to trust that you're able to get where you need to go and everybody else is able to get where they need to go even if they don't see you. That's trusting, right? And then same once again, getting to center. Good for Wunki for that. Then they hinge it low, and then they bring it up. They swing it up, high, low, and then they condense it, more of an elbow there. And we open it up, more framing. And then we face each other, and I like the look there, right? So there's this run to you, and I like the running, and there's depth in it, where we have the running position, more like a sliding position, gliding position. I like that we had so much depth by having quantity, but we're not just all facing front. Notice the back two groupings, they are catty corners, so they're angled, which I really like. Thought that was cool. The twinkle is also really nice there. The drop is great, and then we end up doing a grab, a little yearn, angsty grab. I like the pull there with the elbow, and then we point it, bring it down, and we switch it off. I like the lift on it is cool. Do another switch. We rotate it, we bring it up. And then we end up pinning it down on the ground with a pull. I love that on the ground unassisted. That is really tricky to do if you are not used to moving, getting up and getting down without the usage of your hands. Sometimes it's just circumstance. It's hard to do. Pistol squats is a really good foundational athletic fitness example of, learning how to go down on one leg unassisted with your arms. However, there's so many progressions with that. Point being, though, you could do this without needing to do that, but notice it's the power of weight distribution and how you're taking our weight from that back leg, using that to smoothly transition onto the knee, because you don't want to bang that knee on the ground to get it to the other side. So if you're somebody who liked Fatal Trouble by Enhypen, you may really like this one because of certain components that overlap, like that gliding, illusion on the floor. It's cool. I hope to see cover groups cover a group like AHOF because they have a really nice discography. They have competitive compositions to where they would fare well if everybody was on the same page of displaying what needs to be done. But that's like, you know, it's just my opinion. And then we bring it up to the chest, and we end up at tapping, and I like the subtlety of that. It's really nice. It's cool. And also the fact that JL used to do covers, I think it would be a really fun way to kind of pay homage to somebody who's in the group themselves. I know he would really appreciate that. So honestly, I like the stance a lot. I think in general, the team groove, if we were to associate team beat, team groove, team rhythm, the team groove sound, of course, with the L Captain, but he was over on team beat, right? Which I know. I'm saying like the vibe that Team Groove gave in the show, I think was my point. I really like the L Captain sound on them so much. I think it's a beautiful collaboration. I think it would be really, really smart long term to stick with L Captain because of the sound that's being curated. There's a lot of really nice, unique timbres that get integrated, and it provides a refreshment in the trendy saturation of sound that we're conditioned to with boy groups in the Gen 5 space, which is why I'm really holding out that they continue on this concept direction, because old things get circled back, get recycled back, right? The Gen 2 sound is becoming more and more of a trend in more recent years compared to what we're seeing in Gen 5. So, and I know a lot of people are going to want to be introduced to that or to reminisce on that like myself. So all that to say, this was a really nice track on them. I'm hopeful for more B-sides, which means more dances to review. And of course, I'll be here to support the group because like I mentioned, they're near and dear to me. They're the first survival group I ever watched get formed in real time. And they're the first survival show that I watched of that too. So I'm rooting for them so much. I'm Jess, you know me, I know you. Any AHOF review that I've done that you don't see on YouTube, it'll be on Patreon. And the whole Universe League, you can binge there too. I'm Jess, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Bye.